Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another exciting episode. This is Titandala, the podcast. I'm your host. My name is Charlie, and like every other week, we get to give you the very, very best. And my guest today is a very exciting young lady, and very successful in what she does. First time we met, I won't even say how we met. I won't even say how we met, but we're gonna get into that a little later on. And I would love to say that she is an inspiration to a lot of people, myself inclusive, because what she's been able to achieve in the short lifespan that she's had on earth, you're not dying anytime soon, don't
Thank you. I was like, whoop.
ALINA KARIMA is my guest for this episode, and we're talking everything around her. If you might have seen recently, just saw your pictures with Naomi Campbell. I was like, what's going on? Because she was crushed for the longest time.
Naomi.
Yeah.
She's stunning though. I don't
Those
blame
magazine
you.
covers and everything. I was like, what?
Music videos, the shoots, yeah.
Yeah. She's actually one of the best person. But anyway, coming to you, like a lot of people have been wondering, we've listened to you on radio, we've seen what you do. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Kitwe. Kitwe Central.
Coppola chick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kopala.
Yeah.
But I would say I grew up in Chingola. We lived Chingola and Kitwe.
Yeah.
But my growing up, where I felt like this is where my childhood happened, was Chingola. And specifically, we lived in a compound named Chikola. So it means like a cough with phlegm, like, you know.
Yeah.
Chuvari chikwete femina.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's what Chikola means. So that's the community. We lived there for some time. I was raised by a single mother. My mom's name is Matilda, and it means something like great or something great. And I think that really describes who she is.
Yeah.
Because as a single mother, taking care of 3 children and about maybe 6 other family
Hey, what happened
relatives.
to your dad? Passed?
We're not certain. I think so. I've heard rumors, from 2008 that he passed, but we haven't had any confirmation. And we have actively looked, my sibling and I, for him.
Have you met him like before?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Met him, yeah.
How old were you when you actually had the first encounter with him?
My parents were married and then they divorced. So, but they split before I was 2. Their marriage was, he was a very abusive man, very abusive husband and father, and he was given a restraint. My mother was given a restraining order against him because he would abduct us a lot, and we would wake up. You wake up in Congo, there's blood in the hotel, you don't know where you are, you don't know how to speak the language. And before that, we were just playing outside at home in safety with relatives, and he comes with his whole group of people, whatever, were being put in the back of a car. He did that to us so many times. My childhood was mostly spent in courts testifying against my father or recounting the traumas that he has caused us. Whoa.
How old were you when you first stood in court to talk?
I don't remember how old I was the first time, but the memory that stands out the most for me testifying against my dad in court was when I realized this isn't how a father is supposed to be. This is absolutely wrong.
Right.
And I think I was maybe 4 years old. It was, he had again abducted us. I don't know where we were, but he had locked us in a room for a long period of time and didn't leave us any food to eat, only bought us food that day. And for the rest of the time, I had no access to a toilet, no food to eat. And I remember saying to my sister, my older sister, and she was very young as well. She was barely 6. And I said to her, I'm dying. I can see Jesus now. And I fainted because that was like, he nearly starved us to death. And my sister was screaming, scratching on the doors for help, anything. And there were people that could hear us. We were in a really small room. That's what I remember. It was just one room, not like a servant's quarter.
Is it at a hotel? Is it at a house?
No, it was some random place in Lusaka, but we were in Chingola. We lived in Chingola, but he had brought us to Lusaka. It was just a tiny room, not a hotel. No, just like I could say the size of much smaller than a servant's quarter. It was just a tiny one room. It had a door and not really a window, but kind of ventilation, and it was very high up, and we were small, so we couldn't reach. But people there knew. I have no idea where we were, but people around knew that there were children in here, because sometimes they would peep to see, like, oh, you see, there they are. But whenever my sister would ask them for help, they would say, no, we're scared of your father.
Whoa.
So he left us there, and he never came back. He disappeared and went, God knows wherever he went.
Yeah.
So when I fainted, when I passed out, I was unconscious, and my sister was screaming, crying, and then people were seeing, and they all thought I was dead. And so, a lot of people, of course, gathered by that same window to see. I believe we were in some compound somewhere. That's where he locked us up. And my sister was crying and asking them for help and saying my sister is dead or whatever. And she knew my mom's number by heart. And my mother had also actively been looking for us with the police. There was search warrants out for my father. There was notices for missing children. She was not eating. I love that woman so much. I owe my mother my life.
Wow.
And my sister, she saved my life, literally. And so she said, just throw me a phone. I'll call my mother, any phone. Very smart girl. Even now, Chanda, my older sister, very smart girl.
Well, love to meet her. Sounds
She'll
smart.
tell you so many stories. So she was able to contact my mother. She didn't know where we were. I don't know exactly what happened after, but I'm sure she threw the phone back, and somehow my mom was able to get in touch with one of my grandmothers who is here in Lusaka, Granny Jane.
Yeah.
And she's the one that came with the police, and they broke it down and took us to the hospital. And I don't remember the rest except waking up and being safe. And then I testified against my dad. But he was so convinced. He was trying to convince the court that he did take care of us. He did leave us food. And up until then, I adored that man. I looked at him with adoration. Every time we would go to a new school, he would come, make noise, have us abducted. Teachers were afraid of him. And I would always tell him, like, this is the new school we're at. And my sister would, like, smack me in the back of the head, like, you wait.
Don't say that.
and everybody would be like, what's wrong with this child?
Yeah.
But in that moment, I realized, like, no, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And I was too small. So I think I grew up too quickly. And he was trying to say, because he knew I would defend him. He said, Alina, didn't I leave you food? And I just wanted to tell the truth, and I said no, and I was so confused why. And he got so aggressive. I just was very terrified of him. And that's the last memory and the most distinct memory I have of testifying against him in court.
Yeah. How was life after that experience now? Like, now you're safe with your mother, and...
It didn't feel like we were safe. You know what? It never felt like we were safe. We were always looking over our shoulder.
Yeah, like maybe he might show up anytime soon.
Every school we went to, it was kind of weird because people knew. Chingola is a small town. Everybody knew, and nobody wants that to be bullied because, oh, the father is this. Oh, you might. So when we came to Lusaka, it felt like here, maybe no one knows. Lusaka felt so big and different. But it was challenging because I started a new school, and I just... you're making new friends, and I didn't want them to stop being my friends. So I never spoke about my dad. I never told them anything. I never said I had been abused. We had lived where we were.
So you had to keep it inside.
I did for a long.
So at this time, the whole family has
time.
moved to Lusaka, or it's just...
my mom. The reason we moved was because she was able to educate herself, put herself through college, continuously work hard. Like, I only got to see my mother in the morning and in the evening. And during like school weeks, sometimes I wouldn't even see her because I would go to bed early, or we'll wake up together and you see her in the morning. At night you don't see her because she was working. When I say overtime,
tirelessly.
Overtime. I don't think we even knew, my sister, my brother and I, like, we're poor. Because it just felt like there was so much love. We always had food. But the adults, maybe there was never enough food for them as well. But my mother made sure we always had food. She made sure our school fees were taken care of. And her resilience is really what made me the woman I am today, because she knew that wasn't a permanent situation.
Right.
But she had so many people telling her, because she went from being happily married, housewife, business owner, whatever, with this rich husband, to now like nothing. So just her come up story, I think it's the most inspiring story I have ever heard. I've met royalty, I've met VIPs, ministers, you name it, but my mother is the most phenomenal woman and person I have ever had the honor of knowing. So
Amazing
Yeah.
stuff. Eh? Sounds like a movie. Now, tell me, going through all this trauma and being able to find yourself, kind of take me through this process, because I mean, it takes a lot, because what you went through, a lot of people actually do break down. How did you pick yourself up and say, you know what, this is who I am and I'm going to make it happen?
I broke down several times.
Yeah.
It was very hard. Even now, some parts are still hard to like address or talk about.
Yeah.
I was 4 when that happened, and the last time that I was abducted by my father, but it's still 20 years later, it's still a healing journey. It's every day. But the biggest difference was I stopped waiting for somebody else to save me.
Yeah.
My mother was there, my sister was there. There were some things we maybe never spoke about as a family, but I had people, I had friends. I just never opened up, right?
Yeah.
And I was waiting. I said, no, somebody will come and make it better. It's not me. Somebody will say something that will make it better, will do something that will fix it for me. And that made me internally depressed because no one was showing up.
Yeah.
Where is God? Like, Jesus, come down, something, right? And you realize God has also I'm very like spiritual and religious. So for me, that's what worked for me. For other people, it might be something different. But just getting so tired of no one's coming to save me, and I'm either gonna kill myself or I'm gonna try and figure out what to do with my life.
Right. And that's a lot of people.
Yeah. I think we all struggle with internal things. It might not be as big as being abducted by your father, being sexually assaulted by family members, or living in extreme poverty, but we all go through things, right?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of like realizing as an adult, I'm sorry, but nobody is coming to save you.
Yeah.
You have to do that dirty mental and emotional work yourself.
Yeah.
You have to address and confront your traumas. How have you dealt with them? Have you dealt with them at all? How do you want to deal with them? And accept that this thing or things happened and I can't change them. From my adolescence, I wished with all of my life and soul that I had a proper father. In high school, come back from holidays, everybody was talking about their dad. This,
yeah,
where
you
do
know,
I
and you're
start?
just
My
there,
dad
just like-
almost killed. My dad almost sold me to people. So you make up stories. It's like, oh, I went on holiday with my dad. He loves me. He takes it. And it was just, that's how I dealt with it. But that wasn't healthy anymore. And realizing like, I don't want to make up lies. I want to own my story. I want my story to be inspirational to other people that are going through similar things.
Absolutely.
I want to help people get out of the similar things. And I really felt it was unjust and unfair. My mother was able to get out of that. We were able to get out of those situations, that community, because she had the exposure, she had the education, she had the skills to get herself a job, and she kept improving on her skills because she was aware of that.
Right.
And other women, other people, they can do that too. There's so many Alinas in so many different communities. There's so many Matildas in so many different communities, and they just don't have the right resources, tools. They're just not exposed. Not that they're not smart enough. They're just not exposed. As soon as you give a person exposure, you give them opportunities.
Absolutely.
That's all you have to do for them.
It opens doors for everything.
Yeah. They empower themselves and they take their lives forward. So it's just my organization. I started when I was like 16, and it wasn't even registered at that time. It came from being frustrated, upset, depressed. I had just graduated high school, and it's just saying I want to make a difference. And I think on a very personal level, I just wanted a reason to make it make sense. Why had I passed through all of this? Why I did nothing wrong. So it was I convinced myself, God allowed for you to pass through this so you can help others. So.
Absolutely. I read somewhere in one of these self-help books which says, do not waste the pain that you're going through now. And that spoke a lot, because everybody goes through pain for a reason. And for you, it actually birthed a whole organization, which I think actually touched a lot of people and actually helped a couple lives. Yeah.
We've impacted 12,000 young people and women to date.
Wow. We're going to get to that. So now, take me through the schools that you went through and up to where you actually did your university.
We changed schools so many times.
Yeah.
Mostly because of, you go to a new school, you get taken away. But Agape, Jacaranda, Elim, and then we started going to better schools as my mom's jobs improved, and she took us to private school. And I graduated from Rhodes Park in 2012.
Yeah.
And then I got a scholarship. I started my organization, of course, and I was doing entrepreneur work. and I got a scholarship to the
So you started your organization once you were still in school? Or was it?
So before I graduated,
Yeah.
I say when I was 16, but before I graduated, I was doing a lot of volunteer work. I was, whatever skills that I had, like it's communication, writing, reading, I would still go into different communities and do that. But that's just on like a personal human level. It's I'm doing this just to contribute something to society or community. But when I figured I want to make impact and change a career for me, instead of finding like a full-time job or whatever, I said, this is going to be my life, my career.
Yeah.
And you know how people say, a balance between personal and professional. For me, that balance doesn't exist because this is my life's passion and work.
Yeah.
So in every room I walk into at home, I will talk about the work I'm doing with everyone, or whatever space I'm in, I'll talk about the work. But I was 16 when I decided I'm going to do this like proper, and I want to create impact in people's lives, like a real change.
Yeah. Amazing stuff. So this work has actually continued in your life to date. Tell me how you got into the competition that saw you win a business pitch for 100,000
So
US.
that business pitch competition, I've done different things, Charlie. We've even worked together how many times?
Yeah, we have. We've worked on great projects together.
So that's something that I would encourage young people is always try different things, get involved in different things, keep knocking on doors. Opportunities won't come to you. You rush, you charge towards opportunity, and then eventually you'll knock on the right door, or you'll kick down the right door.
Right.
So that pitch competition, it's funny because I had seen it 2 years before I won, before I was part of it, and I thought, this is too good to be true. This is a scam. Talking about you want to help
scammers around.
You want to give me free money for what?
For an idea, like what are you talking about?
So it's a Pan-African competition.
Right.
They pick top 20 of Africa's most innovative, brightest young entrepreneurs and leaders. So you apply, and the application process can be intimidating, but I mean, don't be scared if you want to apply for it. It can be intimidating. You apply, you put down your business existing or idea. Mine was already existing, and I included my data, my metrics, which is why it's good to document and record it. Even if you're starting small, even if you've just started this week, you only have 3 customers, make sure you start to record that data, getting feedback as a young person. What are you doing for your preliminary before you do a soft launch of this product on the market? What are you testing? What gap in the market are you kind of like fixing, right? Or filling? But most importantly, is your business idea or initiative creating a solution to an already existing or foreseen challenge? That's what got me in, is because they identified that about my strategy and my model. And it's not like I did that specifically catered to the organizational pitch, but I'm very grateful that I did. And they also identified that I was lacking in a lot of areas. So it wasn't just about the money. You do a residency at Africa Leadership Academy. And the ALA franchise has been coined like the Harvard of Africa. And Fred Swanika's founding story is amazing. Whoever's listening and watching, do research on
amongst
that.
the application, how many people do apply, like generally?
Thousands of young people. I get asked this question a lot by people who are already in business. Unfortunately, you don't qualify if you're over 22. I was 21 at the time. That was 2018. So that competition is for 22 and under. But there's so many others for different like age groups and different business thematic areas. So I would still say shoot your shot. You know? So the application process was a bit tedious and intimidating, but we got there. And you pitch after your residency. Now you have to pitch your business plan module and have your big ask of how much investment money do you need. And it's technically a grant. With an investment, you are meant to pay back the investor, right? But this was more like angel investment or a grant. We didn't have to pay it back. It's just to help you scale up because you're creating job opportunities for other young people in your country or community.
So you went ahead and went through all the stages, and finally you emerged as winner.
It was tough. I wasn't the only winner. We were quite a few of us. I just don't remember the exact number. So but I did also win I also they had several competitions within that competition.
Yeah.
They had most popular vote across Africa or something, which I took third place for.
Wow.
And I got to speak on a panel about Zambian youth and the change in the communities that we're bringing, and talk about the communities that I'm working in.
Right.
Young people just like me. And one of the African entrepreneurs I look up to, Simsakaya, said of me that, I'm Africa's future. So
Right.
that for me, he probably says that to a lot of people, truthfully so, but that for me meant something.
Meant a lot.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Being a person that has traveled a lot and seen how youths are doing in terms of business, entrepreneurship, and all of that. What do you think? Because now, if you look back at Zambia, for instance, you will see that a lot of young people are deprived of opportunities, number one, because you see that in the neighborhood that they live, the shops where they buy their breakfast, their groceries or whatever are owned by foreign people. What is it about Zambian youth that is making us not step up to say, you know what, if somebody can come all the way from Burundi and have a shop right by my corner, I can have another one next to. And the thing is, most of the shops that are owned by young Zambians do not even last that long. Is there any area that you feel we're lacking, or there could be?
In entrepreneurship, I think that Zambians are very enterprising, and Zambian young people too. But there are, of course, some young people that just are living, and it's good to also just live and just exist.
Yeah.
But do something with your life also. There's a purpose and reason that you're here, I believe.
Right.
So I think you've mentioned a few things. Number one, I think foreigners succeed more when they come to like a different country, because most times they're running away from something in their country, and for them it's do or die. And we don't have that. Sometimes Zambian youth, we don't have that mentality, because we're kind of sitting on a blanket of comfort. It's either I make it or I die. And for me, that's what it was, right? As well, it's either I kill myself because I was just depressed, or I try to fight this thing and I do something with my life. So
Right.
Go hard for it. Like, you have to be hungry for success to get to success. You have to be willing to make the necessary sacrifices. You have to be willing to analyze yourself and say, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. I will work and focus more on my weaknesses so I can transform them into my strengths. But sometimes Zambian young people, we just have this blanket of comfort, because we have struggles in Zambia, but some other countries have it worse than us,
Exactly my thoughts.
That plays a huge role. And then you do see, just like you said, some young entrepreneurs and their enterprises don't go past that startup phase of 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's for a lot of different reasons. I think there's a lack of financial discipline and understanding your business module canvas, revenue streams, and separating what money is yours personally, what profits are you using to pay yourself a salary.
Yep.
Overpaying yourself is a big thing. If your business is making 10,000 kwacha, you want to pay yourself 8,000 kwacha and 2,000 for your business.
Starving the business
No,
now.
pay yourself 2,000 kwacha, 8,000 for the business. You know what I mean? Financial discipline and just entrepreneur discipline as well, and understanding your business module canvas. Are you buying something to resell just because it's popular in the market, or have you actually identified a need for it and the target audience or market specific, like that you are catering to? Here, there's this gap, and this is what I'm providing.
Right.
And here are your options. And these are my revenue streams. You can't rely on just one revenue stream for a business. You need multiple. So if I'm a hairdresser, the service I offer, that's one revenue stream.
Right.
And then I can also say my other revenue stream is I will teach other people that want to become like hairdressers and own a franchise on hairdressing. That's another revenue stream. A third revenue stream is something like I will resell products and say, I will manufacture my own like hair care products and say, after I braid, you use this hair care. I think that's what makes an entrepreneur, and that's what makes the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person. Business people don't always succeed, and it's I'll take whatever comes. But an entrepreneur, you've really thought it out. You know what I mean? Your business module canvas, key partners, key resources, key services, supply chain, all of that.
Great stuff. Let's talk about how you got into the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, and when does the call come to say, hey, listen, you're representing the country?
Oh my gosh, it was on Zoom. I screamed.
For real? Yeah. Did you apply? How does the process work?
No, I was hand selected.
For real?
So I had applied for Queen's Young Leader because I was doing a lot of work with I was walking from Chudley to town. I made the sacrifices.
For real?
Don't look and say,
ALINA,
she's met this and this.
No,
I was walking in schooners, okay? Anyone from Zambia Catholic University will tell you. I don't care what you're saying, I will walk because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I can see a future for myself that you can't see. And that's what young people, we have the advantage of age. Don't be embarrassed to, take a break or say, I can't afford to do this right now. I'm focusing on my future. That's okay. You need to make the necessary sacrifices to get to where you need to be. So that's what I did. I worked my butt off. I had applied for Queen's Young Leader before. I didn't get in. I applied again. Then I got in. And it was surreal because I also received a scholarship to this program with University of Cambridge, ICE.
Wow.
For that specific, it ran only for 5 years. So it was an exclusive program, and it came from the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen.
Amazing.
So that was
so you
pretty
graduated
dope.
even?
Yeah. I'm an alumni. Graduated. And that only ran for 5 years. So in April 2018, because of the success of Queen's Young Leaders and the number of young people across Commonwealth countries they had supported with, mentorship, grants, the Queen wanted to create a lasting legacy, something that will, memorialize what she has done for Commonwealth societies and communities. And I think it's always important when we're talking about Commonwealth to remember how we are part of the Commonwealth society and communities. It was through colonialization, right? So I think it's a good place to start. The young people are Africa's biggest resource, so it's a good place to start to make amends for that. Queen's Commonwealth Trust was born in 2018, April, because of that, because of Queen's Young Leader and memorializing her legacy. And I was kind of inherited from QCT from Queen's Young Leaders by the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. They identified that I was a young person that didn't just participate and graduate the program, I also contributed to the program. So there was that.
Proactive, eh? Yeah.
So there was that as well. And I was hand selected to be part of the organizing team for Prince Harry's visit to Zambia to announce our partnership.
I remember that. I was dope.
My organization becoming partner to the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, myself becoming a member, one of the founding members, and that's when the journey started.
Okay. So how big of a deal is it to not only to you personally, but obviously to a lot of young people right now? Because, you coming from here already, I'm seeing doors opening for a lot of young people as well.
Yes. So my job right now, my recent trip was in London, and that's where Naomi Campbell was my date. I got the call off Zoom. I was screaming.
Wow. When I saw the pictures, I was like, ooh, yes.
It was very hard to keep that secret. I wanted to post immediately, listen, I'm going to be with Naomi Campbell.
You just had to wait for the pictures to come out.
It was very hard to keep that secret for such a long time, and just get to meet her, speak to her. My role and why it's a big deal is because I was there in the capacity of a Zambian young leader of the Commonwealth country, and also to represent the entire Queen's Commonwealth Trust. But I wasn't just talking about young leaders across 54 Commonwealth countries. I was talking specifically about young leaders in Zambia, young entrepreneurs. What are some of the struggles that we face? What is the kind of support that we need? Where do I want to see a change? What can Naomi Campbell do to tap into her networks to help me make more impact with young people in terms of grant opportunities, job opportunities? The Queen's Commonwealth Trust exists to champion, fund, and support young leaders. So how can we get more young leaders from Zambia supported by Queen's Commonwealth Trust and all these new networks of these VIPs, important people, millionaires that I've been meeting in the UK at these events, and also at St. James Palace. So that's why it's a big deal. So there's a lot that's going to be unfolding in the weeks and months to come, and it's specifically opportunities catered for young people. So I'm excited about that.
Amazing stuff. So definitely part of your plan is obviously to help a lot of young people here to realize their dream. So now, in terms of women in our country right now, you see you have to be a woman first before you are recognized as a CEO. She's the mother first and then the CEO of such a company. What do you think these stereotypes are going to end? And is it a cultural thing? Because now I'm seeing like now we're a bit woke and we understand that women can take leadership roles and they're able to voice out in spaces where was predominantly men. For a young woman looking at you right now and admiring all your achievements that you have done, what do you think is the first thing they need to look at when they want to realize their dream?
So I think like patriarchy is infested itself everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And sexism is a product of that. And then culturally speaking as well, it's like you said, right? It's I can't just be a leader. I have to be. This is ALINA, the woman leader.
Yeah,
the woman
there's
entrepreneur.
always those.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a
Yeah.
leader. I'm a business leader, social leader. Don't put woman in front of it. I am this. I'm a woman. I'm aware of that. You don't see me saying this is Charlie, the male entrepreneur, the man leader. You know, so
Yeah.
let's cut that off. Those small changes will make a drastic difference because you're recognizing that women and men equally can make leaders. I gave a speech with Prince Harry and I said, the future is female, and I said it so proudly. But you know what? I've experienced a lot of growth and exposure and coaching and mentorship. And my words now would be the future is not female. The future is equality, it's diversity, right? I stand for lots of different things. And it's also recognizing that we can't get to equality before equity. So we have to give women a bit more opportunities than what they've been afforded right now. We have to keep giving women, myself included, the chance to prove that they are well capable of this. And if you look at most like recent events, like on a global scale, women, I would say, make better leaders than men.
You think so?
I know so.
Would go in a lot of examples, but yeah, and I'm totally loving it because I think if you look at most of the big banks in the country right now, the CEOs are women, and it's about time.
It's about damn time.
It's taken a long time, and we're celebrating that because, I mean, look at this. If you're going to give equal opportunities, like you say, to women and men, I shouldn't be hired if we have the same qualification. I shouldn't be hired because, we think a guy is stronger than, and these are things that still exist even in the workplace now. Like, they'll be like, female can do this job, you know what I mean? And the more we start, exposing these stereotypes and just saying, hey, listen, let's stop putting a woman word in front of, if you're going to be a CEO, like, a female CEO of such and such a company. I think it's about time.
Yeah.
I think it's really about time. So what's the future of African leaders, especially young leaders in the country, looking at where we are statistically in the country? We're looking at the situation where we're dealing with a lot of things, like right now we're talking about poverty, we're talking about unemployment and all of that. And all of these actually hit different when it comes to females because men, men are expected generally to, cope with these things. Where are we in terms of just, seeing young people succeeding in the country, looking at the statistics of poverty, unemployment, as well as literacy levels in the country?
I think it starts with the recognition that this country is for the young people. The future
Totally
of
agree,
Africa
100%.
and the country is the young people. We are the hope, and even those younger than me, 13, 16, it's to stop making the assumption that young people don't know what they're talking about, that young
Yes.
people can't make good decisions. It's to remember to include young people in policy decision-making positions, conferences, meetings, all of that. Recognizing that young people have a voice and opinion that matters on things because we experience these challenges. We don't want to be ruled by baby boomers who don't understand the challenges we're going through, who can't think innovatively and find, a solution for 2022 to a problem for 2022.
Yeah.
You want to... There's a thing called Sankofa, looking back to move forward, which is where mentorship comes in, which is where people with more experience than us come in as advisors.
Right.
Come on board as advisors. Not young people should be included in policy decision making, and also young people being recognized by government as a key resource, right, to change. And young people as well, this is for young people listening, holding government accountable to the promises that they make us. We're
Absolutely.
tired of being lied to. Don't dribble on us. We're not like an ex or a girl you're trying to... Don't dribble. young people in Zambia really, really need to step up in holding government accountable for the promises, lack of good judgment, lack of proper opportunity for us, all of that. Hold government officials accountable. We have so many activist youth, but it needs to be a bigger number.
And talking about holding the government accountable, I think you're really right, because I think the previous election actually proved to say youth are the deciders, they're the majority. And,
We are.
And the power literally is in our hands. And if we're going to elect a government and just let it be because we won and we made our decision was accepted that, okay, this is going to be our leader, it ends there. I think we're doing a disservice not only to ourselves but as a nation as well. So we need to start holding leaders accountable, starting from your workplace, actually.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We need to have that voice and be able to speak out regards those issues. So now, what is the future for? What is the bigger dream? What is the future? Because I know you're not ending here. You're a dreamer. Like, what's the future like for Alina?
My whole thing is, whenever someone asks me what is the 5-year plan, what is the long-term plan, I know what it is, but I don't want to share it because I don't want to jinx anything. And I really like the element of surprise.
Right.
People kind of ruin things for you. So
Exactly.
that's something I've learned the hard way is, I'm working on me for me. I don't need to make any announcements yet. When it's done, then I will. Then I'll make noise about it. But while I'm in the process of it, I'll keep to myself. But for some people, I know they share publicly, and that's okay. It's what works for you, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I found works best for me.
Well, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So now let's get to what happened to the cook show. I was a huge fan. Alina, what happened?
It'll be back.
Yeah. So that's like your hobby. Apart from everything else that you do, you love to cook.
I love to cook. I'm an award-winning chef, self-taught.
Yeah.
But my first cake I baked with Millimil.
That's not
It's
supposed
white,
to be funny, but
flour is white. I didn't know better. But no, I love to cook.
Yeah.
I haven't really been creative in the kitchen for some time now, just because.
You're busy.
Yeah, but I want to get back into it
Yeah.
sometime. I've started slowly, so we'll see. Maybe that's one of the plans for the future for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Well, you need to bring back your show. Bring
Yeah,
back your
Charlie
show.
will come cook with me as well. Can you cook, Charlie?
Yes, I can cook.
You thought about it too long.
I can boil eggs. I
Oh,
can,
no.
all that kind of nice stuff. You know what it is with I even joked about it on Twitter the other time. Like, you want to cook, you get a recipe from probably one of those channels, and then you're like, I'm gonna try to make this. Then you realize that you do not have rosemary, you do not have what. It's like, you know what? I love
okay.
carpenter. Let's rock.
I feel you. I feel you.
It's amazing. It's crazy stuff, man. So I always ask this question before I let my guests go.
Okay.
What legacy do you want to leave behind as Alina when it's all said and done?
My impact. I want to create a lifetime of impact that goes beyond me and what started off as my personal mission to make a difference. I want to make an impact in people's lives. They will be the legacy that I carry on. I was able to do this because they were able to do something, accomplish something great, because I gave them a platform or resources or tools or skills, or helped them create that empowerment for themselves, and that they will own their journey, really transforming people's lives, creating more Alinas like me from the compounds where I also came from, same like me, that they should also be speaking at St. James Palace. They should also be getting recognized by royal family and the like.
Amazing, powerful. Alina, I gotta give you this.
Thank you.
That was so powerful. Thank you so much for speaking to us on the podcast today.
Thank you.
And
You're
you know
awesome,
what?
Charlie.
Wishing you all the best in all your endeavors, and you're really a true inspiration.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we close right here for this particular week. I've been talking to Alina. Now, listen, before we even go, listen, people that want to follow you, how do they catch you on socials?
Okay, my Instagram is ALINA KARIMA.
Yeah.
On Twitter, it's at Karima Musama, and Facebook again is ALINA KARIMA.
All right. Alina, keep shining.
Thank you, Charlie.
All
We keep
right.
rocking.
Till next week, we're out.